What's up, Duckers? Welcome to the August show for a Ducking Wrestling podcast. We are going to be discussing Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho from the Great American Bash. George is about to jump online and we're going to get it going. See you on the other side.
Previously on a Ducking Wrestling podcast.
Raven rules.
I don't think that was his saying, but all right.
No? Have a good
hell,
time.
he's from he's the part of the
It's a nice day. It's a nice day.
Wait,
I fucked it up.
Which, by the way,
In the 90s, that was a Nitro girl.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a Ducking Wrestling podcast. It is August. It is time to review another super match. This month, we are checking out Jericho versus HBK from the Great American Bash 2008. Here with me is Mr. Jorge over there, Mr. Too Hard, Too Fast. Give him a little shout out. What's going on, George?
Not much, man. Some would say I am the great Mexican American Bash. But, yeah, well, that didn't. I don't know where I was going with that. But here we are, baby.
It landed, but then it just kind of fluttered. So it was a good attempt. I'll give you credit for that.
You know what? I will say I was the original Y2J.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Let me
So
hear it.
I created, and back when, like, shit, man, when we were barely doing emails, I don't know what an email to do, but it was like, what email would be good? And it was it was during that Y2K scare, and so my email was Y2J _ Jorge,
Nice.
and then Jericho came out with it, and I was like, this motherfucker stole it.
That is an interesting story. Yeah. Kids, back when we were growing up, there was a thing called Y2K. Go Google it because it is insane. The stuff that we had that we believed back in the middle to the end of 1999. So
The world was gonna end.
that was it. The world was going to end. The rockets, the nuclear weapons were going to go off, and nobody knew because computers. Apparently, people thought a computer wouldn't know what to do when going from 1999 to 2000. That it was going to cause such an issue that everything was going to break down in society. If you get a chance, if you have the Max app, go on there. CNN has a great couple of documentaries. One of them is called The 90s. And then there's one, the 2000s, that both of those kind of touch on it. And it's really interesting to go back and watch it, because I remember as a kid, it was pretty damn terrifying. Like the stuff they were talking about, that like all of these computers were going to crash and just everything was going to go to shit. And then nothing happened.
And then now it's 2024. We have AI, and we're talking almost the same thing.
Right. Now we're approaching more Terminator style, and not so much, thinking a computer wouldn't know what number comes after 1999.
Yeah. First, we're like, the computers are too dumb. They're going to kill us. And now the computers are too smart. They're going to kill us.
There's a t-shirt. But guys, before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, jersey this month, because football is back, baby. Throwback Jason Witten, Dallas Cowboys, representing, getting it going here with preseason starting up. And then a big shout out again to the official cap of a Ducking Wrestling podcast, Cowboy Revolution. Go to our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Find the code, get you 15% off. Represent in style. George, I need to send you that link.
I'm waiting for it, man. I'm over here representing everything else, but
I thought at first your hat said Boston, like, but. Like, oh, it's a Bruins hat. Never mind.
Yeah, baby. Do they sell like these kind of mesh trucker hats?
I don't know if they have that style, but like this one here, it's a it's a material on the back, but it's very much got that fit like a
Yeah,
trucker.
good, because I
So
got a big head.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go check them out. Check out our social media pages. Well, George, let's get into it, man. So, Great American Bash was coming at us from the Nassau Coliseum, Long Island, New York. This was a weird uh, kind of moment in history. Like, I feel like the WWE was very much in the transitional between like coming out of the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, the PG era was on the horizon. Like, it was kind of a weird moment. But I will say, I mean, I really enjoyed the match. This, I think, Jericho in the grand scheme of Shawn Michaels' career, which I'm been very outspoken that I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan and always have been, even when I shouldn't have been. But I think Jericho was one of his best rivalries because they were so similar that you could almost look at them as like the evolution of a pro wrestler where Shawn Michaels evolved into what Chris Jericho was and the style and stuff. But George, what'd you think about the Jericho Michaels rivalry?
Honestly, I forgot that there was a rivalry. I was trying to remember 2008. I know I stopped watching wrestling maybe in '05 to '06 era. That's when I went into college, and I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I don't watch wrestling. And so I had to like sneak it. I would sneak watch it or like without my roommates knowing. Um, and then all of a sudden, like I just stopped. And it was more because I was like kind of just bored of it, like the predictability or like it just wasn't exciting me as much as they used to or entertaining me. Um, so I was trying to remember when I watched this if this is the time where I just didn't watch it and I couldn't remember if I knew there was a rivalry or not. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
or I was trying to remember what led up to this. So I think at some point, I don't remember when I, sorry, I don't remember when I restarted watching it, is what I'll say. And it could be right before this, or it could be right after this.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
this match was watching it, it almost felt like it was like the first time I watched it.
yeah. Well, I know they had a pretty big rivalry coming in to this match. I meant to look it up and I didn't get a chance to, and our Encyclopedia Blacktanica is not here today. He is on assignment, and y'all will find out about that next month. Hint, hint, it involves handcuffs. Anyway, uh, I can't remember. They had a great WrestleMania match, but I don't remember if it was the WrestleMania of this year of '08 or if it was '09 when they kind of had like the culmination of their rivalry. Part of me was thinking that it was '08 because they kind of went into that match as like, hey, we're agreeing to have this match together, and I've always respected you, and kind of that style. And then Jericho turned heel in that match, and I just don't remember. Everybody in the comments, shoot us a comment and let me know how wrong or how right I am.
We should just name this episode I can't remember.
Is Shawn Michaels versus Jericho question mark?
This happened? I can't remember.
But yeah, I think Jericho was one of the best rivals for Shawn Michaels because they meshed very well together. I kind of forgot though about Lance Cade being Shawn Michaels' student at the Texas Wrestling Academy, and then aligning with Chris Jericho here, which Rest in
He's
peace.
the one that interferes.
Yeah,
I
that's
was trying to figure out who he was. I couldn't picture him.
yeah,
So
he
see, I
kind of
didn't know who he was.
yeah, he aligned himself with Jericho around this time, and then I want to say it's been a while, but he's passed away since he died.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember what it was. I don't want to dive too deep into it because it may have been something not great that we don't want to talk about. But yeah, rest in peace to Lance Cade. But let me pose the first question to George here. Better version of Shawn Michaels, 98 and prior or '02 and after?
Before he found Jesus.
Okay. So, but that comes
Jeebus.
so you prefer the pilled up Shawn Michaels. That's your
Yeah, hidden camera people. I did enjoy that there was a version of the renowned or whatever the revived Shawn Michaels, that wasn't too, it seemed too preachy and too goody goody, and then he kind of found a balance for it, and I think I like that Shawn Michaels as well. So yeah, before, what is it? Oh man, Shawn Michaels BC, and then Shawn Michaels AD, but well established AD.
that's a good way to put it. BC and just call it AC. Like after before Christ, after Christ. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. I think I really liked the 98 prior Shawn Michaels just because I mean that embodiment of like that defiant DX, like kind of fuck everybody, style and attitude. I kind of appreciated, like, but then I do like the
I will say, I wonder. I'll say that as watching him on TV, but if you were to meet him in person, would he be a punk, like a CM Punk?
ah I don't think so. I've always kind of heard good things about him for people who've met him like around San Antonio and everything. But yeah, I agree with like the attire with the big cross down the leg. I mean, the dude is like three pieces of turquoise away from being just a basic white woman on a Sunday at her Baptist church. No offense to anybody, but y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. That style of like person who just dresses in that outlandish, the crosses with the turquoise and all that. And I thought
Yeah, yeah.
that was a bit much. Like you're gonna have HBK on like your hip, but then like a big cross. I don't know. I don't know. But I've always been a big Shawn Michaels fan. And fun fact for everybody, Shawn Michaels is not from San Antonio.
Michael Hickenbottom
No, no, no.
is a brat, a
He
military brat.
Yep, he was not born in San Antonio, but he did spend most of his life there. And actually, his dad was stationed at Randolph Air Force Base, and was one of my dad's officers when my dad was at Randolph.
Dang.
Yeah, I could have been best friends with Shawn Michaels if I had been like 20 years older. All right, but hey, let's get into the match, man. So first note that I have is kind of going into the match itself. What caught my attention first and foremost was just how like the facial expressions of each guy told kind of their own story in this beginning of the match. I mean, you can see both of them showing like pure anger, hatred, like pain when they're getting hit and stuff. And like to start off the match, it was a good pace, man. It was fast, but it had its moments where it slowed down, or it kind of took a break. It reminded me of kind of a quicker paced Flair and Kerry Von Erich from a couple of episodes ago. I mean, I was really enjoying the first part of the match for a style that I traditionally don't find very appealing. What were your thoughts, George?
First off, really enjoy the entrances. I forgot that, you know, Y2J entrance, which was I always thought was cool. Um, it seemed like it was. I mean, obviously, it was already losing its appeal. I think 2008, like, okay, it's been done. Like, but when it first, when he first came out with it, and like the lights kind of went out, and you just had the countdown going, and then everything just shut down even further, and then the one light on Jericho. I that was has to be one of the top entrances, in my opinion. But then it was a great commentary, I think, by Lawler, who said like, I can't tell by Jericho's face what he's feeling. Only he knows. And yeah, you kind of have like that. It was a perfect shot, camera to his face, and the stare would just look like he was just staring off into like the abyss.
Yeah,
It was
that's what I'm
perfect.
saying, dude. It like they told such a good like natural story to start this match off, and it kind of made me chuckle because yeah, you're the Y2J thing, you're 8 years, 9 years past the Y2K stuff, and okay, you're still using that as like your gimmick. Okay, dude, but it's getting a little old, right? But um yeah, then I was thinking of that, and then Shawn Michaels music hit, and I'm like, damn, speaking of stuff that's old, dude's been using the same music since like 1997. Like,
No, but that song is like one of those that like you just can't change. Like Randy Orton changing his song would be weird.
and he did.
Uh,
Randy Orton's on the second version of his music.
but it's still well. I knew he had one that sucked that everybody hated.
I liked it. I still jam that shit. I liked it.
Really,
Yeah,
I wasn't until
Burn
he
in My
came
Life.
out to like oh crap. Now I'm gonna forget the lyrics. They counsel me, they understand.
Yeah, that's the one.
That
That's his current, and I agree. Like, it would be weird to have him come out to any other, but I mean, and two, now thinking about it, Shawn Michaels, this was his, I guess, technically third.
version of it.
No, not version of it, but third entrance music, second version. So his first um version of this song was actually sung by Sensational Sherry. And then when she left, then they redid it, but with him singing it. So yeah, if you and everybody listening, go check it out, the original version of HBK's music with Sensational Sherry singing the lyrics. It's so, I mean, it's the exact same song and same everything. It's just she's singing it. So it's a weird dichotomy between
Well,
the two.
I will confess that I used to jam out to "Break Down the Walls of Jericho."
I'm not even gonna knock you for that because I mean, like, for everything about this time in wrestling, like with all the issues with kind of mediocrity, the music was there though. They were not lacking when it came to entrance music for these guys. I mean, some of the most iconic entrance music of all time came out during this time. So Jim Johnson was doing his thing. So give him credit for that. So kind of getting back to the match, there was something that happened a little ways into the match that I immediately was like, "Oh, I don't like this." Was Jericho going for the walls of Jericho, and like way too early. And I get it, like Shawn Michaels was starting to sell his back, which I think that's one of the greatest like things about Shawn Michaels is that he can always go to the back and be like, my back, like always go to the back. And I get why Jericho puts it on, but for that for that to be his finishing move to come on early for him to use is just weakening uh Shawn Michaels. I didn't like it. Was not a fan of it.
Why not? Like, why so? Like, what makes you not like it?
I think it's the fact that I understand you're using it to weaken his back, but that's like that's one of your finishing maneuvers. Like
Mm.
you don't see Randy Orton or Triple H like halfway through a match just like hit the pedigree or the RKO or you know people with submission moves. You didn't see Bret Hart, a third of the way through the match like slap on the sharpshooter. He would there if he's looking to target your back and go there, he's going to use something else to do it. I think throwing on your finishing submission halfway through the match is a bit. I mean, nobody's sitting there going, "Oh shit, he's got the walls of Jericho, but Shawn Michaels is going to tap out. Like this match is over."
Right, right.
You know? And so that was like the thing that I'm like, I don't like it this early, but were
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, were you digging it? Were you digging the
Well,
walls of
I
Jericho?
didn't. It didn't phase me. Like, I never. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, or it wouldn't bother me. Like, I think it depends what happens. Like, if it looks like it's like, come on, man. Obviously, he's gonna kick out of it or tap. I mean, get the ropes or whatever. When it's too obvious, then I don't like it. But then I move forward with it. Um, every now and then, and I feel like I've seen it happen where they do the finishing move, they end the match like that, and it's like boom, and it kind of gives you, it does give you that sour taste of like, oh, I thought there was gonna be more to it. Probably wouldn't do that on a pay per view. They would do that on like on a Raw or something.
Right.
Which that considers like, yeah, you're showing your power or dominance. I don't think I would during a match. I would expect at least watching this match or any other match. Oh shit! The commentators were not was not Jerry Lawler or what
Yeah, it's
at all.
Lawler and Cole.
Oh, okay, sorry, because they just I'm watching it over here, and they just showed the end of the match, and then they showed Mick Foley and Jr.
Yeah, so this was when they had done like the brand split. So
Oh, okay, they will switch back and forth. Okay,
right. So you would
back
cover.
to it.
Yeah, no, and that was something too that I was really liking about this match. So you had Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler who weren't playing characters; they were actually like doing their job as color commentator and announcer and whatever their titles were. They weren't injecting their bias or trying to be like heel Jerry Lawler or heel Michael Cole. They were just calling the match. And I really appreciated that and really liked it, especially in this match where you've got two guys in the ring who can tell a story rather than needing like Michael Cole sitting in the fucking coal mine or or Jerry Lawler making jokes about, the two guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just it threw me off because I saw that I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I heard somebody else the other guy's voices.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, back to the match. Yeah,
Well,
I just expect whether they use the finisher early on, I expect them to kick out because I feel like more than likely there's more match to it.
yeah,
And yeah, maybe that diminishes their moves, but
I think that's what it does is it waters down the move. Because I don't think you can see it again. And if you do see it again, it's going to be the end of the match, which I don't think we see the walls of Jericho again in the match. But let me ask you this. So I know when in our conversations and I enjoy more of a fast pace style match, even when you've got two big guys bumping meat. Shout out Lathan. I still enjoy like a more fast paced match that keeps me entertained. I thought this had a really good pace. It wasn't super fast, but they had moments that kind of caught your attention. What were your thoughts on the on the pace of the match?
I think it was good. I mean, like you said, there wasn't like any like low moments where like it was just too slow and where you were like just like, all right, come on, let's do the next thing. Like it started off fastish and then it gave a natural progression. I guess I should say, like you can tell the guys were getting tired, but they were still trying to beat each other up. So they were still doing different things.
That's a good way to put it. It had a very natural progression as like what a real fight would kind of feel like. And there were a couple of times in this where like they were throwing elbows and shit, and I'm like, God dang, like you I enjoy a match that makes me wonder what was behind the scenes that may have caused more animosity in the ring. I can't imagine these two having any kind of real issue with each other uh leading up to this match, but you never know. You never know the backroom kind of politics that are going on, but I think that they were telling a good
But I
story.
mean, do you think like they don't like each other or didn't like each other for real?
I
Like
don't
in real
know.
life, for real life?
I think that's a testament to the guys in the match was just how much it made you question like, wow, that they kind of seem like they legitimately like Shawn Michaels, hitting him with the arm, but hitting him pretty solid. Like, hmm,
Yeah, like there was this one part where they're on top of the ropes. Sean hits Jericho pretty good across the chin, maybe lower. But I felt like he hit him good, and where it could have looked a little like he was, getting a real shot in. But then he lifts his foot up, and Jericho kind of like puts himself into it to get
yeah,
pushed off.
yeah. There was one moment, and I forgot to write it down, but it was like right when the match started, like Jericho goes in, or like Jericho's coming at Shawn. Shawn goes to kick him, and you can see like a distance of about this much between the foot and Jericho, and he like, takes like he got hit, and I'm like, oh man. Like, oh, I don't want it to be one of those matches, but they recovered from that pretty quick. But we're gonna take our first commercial break, and we will be right back here in just a couple of minutes with something that really kind of pissed me off, and then it distracted me for almost the remainder of the match. So y'all hang tight. We'll be back in just a second.
Hello, wrestling fans. This is Fanboy Dave. Catch myself, Big Kev, and Jeremy from Brothers of Discussion weekly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other platform you use to listen to your favorite podcasters. We talk about WWE mostly and have a real good time giving our takes. And every now and then, might throw a little shade at AEW. So hope you give us a shot. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back, everybody. Make sure you go check out the Brothers of Discussion on uh, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. They review stuff weekly. They review the current stuff. So go check them out. It's good, interesting things. So, all right, we need to get into the elephant in the room that really got on my fucking nerves about halfway through the match. The kids in the crowd.
Uh-oh.
So there's a camera angle where you get kind of the wide view of the kids or of the crowd, right? And there's probably 6 or 7 kids who realize that they're on the Titantron. And so then all they're doing is in the aisles, they're fucking dancing and like jumping up and down, watching themselves, like not even watching the match. Then you get the adults who are then like, oh, what are they looking at? Oh, look, it's us on the camera. And so you have like this moment where there's like this whole group of people on the side just watching themselves in the Titantron and talking, where they're completely ignoring the match. And I'm like, pay attention.
I don't think I saw. I don't think I caught that at all, man.
Got on my
I mean,
fucking
I
nerves.
see it now.
Yeah. Yeah. It got on my nerves. I'm like, holy shit, you're there watching two of the greatest of all time in a match. Like your parents like paid for these tickets for you to go to this show. Like sit your ass down and watch the match. Like get out of the aisle, stop dancing, unless you see the beer guy, and then get him over here so I can get another beer.
Oh, Jack, dude, I'm seeing it, and I can't unsee it now.
Thank
I can't
you.
unsee it.
God.
There's like a pair, like there's like a mom like dancing in the aisle, like I don't know,
And
getting
now
seductively.
every time the fucking that camera angle comes back, like that's all I can see is that. And it just got on my nerves. It just like we'd rather be watching the goddamn camera and seeing
Dude,
yourself.
this was it. This was like right before the social media boom. This is the only way you can say you were seen by a bunch of people at one time.
Damn it. Okay, fair point. Like God, it like every time that camera angle came back, I started watching the crowd. And then that's when it got like on my nerves. But getting back to the match, we have this moment where there's like this cool back and forth pinning combination between Shawn Michaels and Jericho, and it was really kind of a good like old school style, pinning combo, which I really enjoyed seeing. That moment though, where Lance Cade comes out and he's ringside now. And Jericho runs against the ropes and he's running back, and Shawn Michaels hip tosses him over the top rope into Lance Cade was probably one of like the coolest moments or things that I've seen in a long time in wrestling. Like it was just such a cool moment because it was just so fluid. Like Michaels just hip tossing Jericho over the top rope into Lance Cade, which makes me wonder, like, why have we never seen that move in a Royal Rumble? Like, that would be awesome. Like, dude just running up back and forth on the ropes and just like hip toss. All right, you're eliminated.
That would be hilarious. A little Santino Morella action.
Oh yeah,
As they run in, they slide in, run towards the person, the other person just warp. That would be cool
that
to watch.
that would be good. Just one side just coming in, slides, momentum gets up. They just keep going and just hip toss over like they never stop running.
That would be cool to watch. Like hilarious.
That would be good. Uh, then we end up with that moment where uh, it was right after this happened where Shawn Michaels got up on the top rope and he hits a moonsault onto Lance Cade and uh, Chris Jericho. And I had to go back and look because I'm like, how old is Shawn Michaels in this match? Like how old is he? Because he's moving around like he's, you know, kind of a young buck. And I know at this point he had gotten over his back issues and was able to do a lot more. The dude was 42 years old doing a moonsault off the top rope onto guys on the floor.
And it looked like they didn't really catch him very well.
Yeah, it looks like Jericho and
He
Cade
was
like
flying with Jesus, man.
oh man. And God kind of let him down at that moment because his legs hit and it was just
Yeah, like
like
it looked like he hit hard.
yeah, he kind of went right between them. Uh, then that kind of led. So the next thing it kind of leads up to is that back elbow that Jericho hits Michaels with that bust open his was it his right eye? and the dude starts to bleed.
The gush.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
He
not
was
like
like a reverse gusher.
the
Oh.
dude, like, oh my, like, even watching this and thinking for the time of it being 2008, I'm like, man, this is pretty gruesome. Like, he hits him and that shit starts to flow, man. What did you think about the blood?
Oh, the blood. I mean, I thought it was cool. I was like, this is. But it's and again, it was like me watching it for the first time, so it was almost like oh wow, we don't see this anymore. And so, but it's like it was almost. There wasn't like just a little dribble that just keeps opening up. It was just like a waterfall.
Yeah.
Now, did he blade, or did he actually get cut?
I would say there's probably a 98% chance that he bladed, but then they're gonna do stuff to try to make it look more legit. So letting Jericho hit the spot, make it, try to open it up more and go from there. Because I mean, you get like moments where Jericho is like hitting him, and I mean, you like he is making contact in that spot, and like I mean, there's no way that you can blade in that spot and it bleed that much without a little bit of assistance on there from the guy in the ring with you.
Well, no, it's cool to see. I don't know. Maybe it's not for most people now, but I guess it's also as now I can see like not every match needs it. I don't know. When used correctly, as they say now, when used correctly, it adds to the match.
I agree with that. I don't think every match needs to have blood in it. Don't tell that to John Moxley, apparently. But I think it does add a lot to it.
or not every promo needs to have blood. Shout out Goldberg. The guy just bleeds while he's talking.
Not every entrance needs blood. Shout out Sandman. Yeah, I think when it's there and when it works, it adds a lot to it. So I mean, in this match, it added to the story. It was a funny moment. The ref kept checking on Michaels, and Jericho kept, ask him, ask him. Michaels is like, no, no, I'm not quitting. No, and the ref goes, Shawn, you're bleeding. Well, no shit, dude. You don't think he realizes that? Like that moment when the ref just goes, "You're bleeding." Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's aware of it because he sees it on Jericho, but Jericho's not bleeding, so it's obviously coming from somewhere. And hey, weird, I got red all over me. Like that was a bit much. But we'll go back real quick to that targeting. So you get the end of the match, right? We're here, we're at the end of this match, and Jericho has Michael's arm over him, right? And is holding it with one hand and just beating the shit out of that spot. And like you can tell he's hitting him with the elbow or with the wrist bone. And he's hitting him with it like that, trying to open it up more. And like I'm sitting there watching it and I go, there's no fucking way this match goes on any longer. And then you get the ref waving it off, and we have
Dude,
our
there's so much
yeah,
blood all over Jericho, all over the mat. It's ridiculous.
yeah, we have our winner in Chris Jericho by I don't even know
Oh,
what you would
hold
call
on.
it.
Before we get to that part, the one part I didn't like, and it's probably as much as you didn't like the people dancing in the crowd. I I I've always disliked, maybe not always, but for the most part, I don't. Maybe I should say I don't understand, like when they get up, like to beg or to like lift themselves up, pulling down like the guy's shorts, and like you're practically seeing like the whole thing. Like there's like
Yeah,
it's right there. It's like, what are we doing here, guys?
yeah, we
Like
got
we're about to have like a major censor dilemma.
yeah, for 2008, we almost got some Chris Jericho dick on camera. Like I saw that too, where he's pulling it, and I'm like, well, I guess Jericho waxes. No, I agree with that because you see it a lot.
Why chew chorizo?
Oh God, what's how do you how do you say chorizo in like French? Because he's Canadian, so that's more.
Who knows?
Oh yeah, but yeah, I agree with you because you see that a lot, like where the guy is like doing the begging thing, and they're like pulling on the trunks, and it's like, I don't know what
And
to
the other guys just letting it, where I would be like, hey, come on, come on,
catching
get
it,
off
being
me.
like, God, no, we're not doing this here. I know you're begging for something, but we need to keep this professional, sir. Yeah, I agree, but those right there at the end, we get a win by Chris Jericho by referee stoppage. And I mean there's no way like the that much blood. Holy shit. Like kudos to Shawn Michaels at this point. I mean, I'm 39 and I couldn't do this shit now, let alone in another 3 years. Like he was really kind of ahead of his time in this era because like now you've got guys who are easily into their 40s and some of them into their 50s who are still performing at their top. Shawn Michaels at this time was really kind of, I feel like, the only guy who was that old but was still doing it, right? And again, I'm going to you and saying right, even though you maybe weren't really watching at this time.
Yeah, no, but who knows? Like, yeah, it's crazy how much blood he lost and still kind of went through the match. I do like the ending, like it still makes Shawn Michaels look like a badass without degrading him or into like a actual loss of pinfall or submission. And it makes even Jericho look even more like sadistic or vicious, and it raises both of them up perfectly.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we're going to get some more into that here. We're going to take our last commercial break, and then we're going to get into our ratings of the match and kind of our overall feelings about everything going into it. So, y'all stick around. One more commercial, and we will be right back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Welcome back. Too Hard, Too Fast. Where we go off the rails and George has to worry about it. So here we go.
Find Too Hard, Too Fast podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to wrap things up here, give our final thoughts, and let y'all go. So, George, final thoughts on the match, man, and give me your rating.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I know coming off, like at the beginning I needed something to grab onto, like as in context of why they were going up against each other, and since I didn't have that, it took me a little bit. But the match itself overall was really good. And what I liked, and we kind of didn't talk about, is that later on in the pay-per-view, I think like a match or two later, Jericho comes back out, still covered in blood, and like starts talking that it's Shawn Michaels' last match, and then to the extent of the injury and all that, and then so all that just made the match perfect. Shoot, what do we do up to the rate like 5 being the best, right?
Yeah, yeah, 1 to 5 with decimals
Dang.
allowed.
I'm gonna go 4.3. Yeah, I should have said 4.2, Jay.
Da-da.
4.3. 4.3 is where I'm going. It was definitely very entertaining. It was like I said, natural progression. And it ended perfectly where it still I feel it put both guys over.
Yeah, I agree, man. So yeah, the next match that comes up is the inaugural Divas Championship match, which you had your girl Natalia
Yo,
versus
baby, Natty.
versus
Natty Light.
there, yeah, natty by nature. Versus Michelle McCool, Mrs. Undertaker at this point. And for the inaugural Divas Championship, and yeah, you have the moment where like Michelle McCool is trying to celebrate being the inaugural Divas champ, and she's got a couple of people in the ring with her, and then fucking Jericho just comes out and he's like, "Fuck you guys."
I'm gonna let you finish.
I just got
But
yeah, he pulled the original Kanye, but not the super weird shit Kanye went into later. But yeah, I agree, man. This match, so we haven't really gone a lot into we haven't had a lot of Shawn Michaels matches, and as a being the fan that I am, I'm surprised we haven't. And honestly, this week's match, I gave George a couple of options, and this is the one he picked. So this wasn't even me wanting to see a Shawn Michaels match. I
I
think
like
this,
both guys, man.
yeah,
Jericho and Shawn Michaels, top guys.
yeah, oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed this match. I think this is by far one of the best matches that we've reviewed and we've looked at. Um, so I gave this match a 4.79. I really enjoyed it. And normally I don't like kind of the bullshit endings. I want like a winner, but we kind of got that what I would call kind of a bullshit ending with a referee stoppage, but it made sense. And I mean, like I said earlier, watching this match where Jericho is just pounding the shit out of Shawn Michaels' eyebrow where he was busted open. Like even in my head watching the match, I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, where do they go from here? And then for the ref to call it, it's like it was a perfect logical next step for the match. And I really enjoyed the match in its totality.
Damn, 4.79. That's probably one of your highest ratings.
That I think that may be my highest rating. There may be one in there from when we were doing the whole pay-per-views that I may have ranked higher, but off the top of my head, I can't remember it. This was, and I knew this was going to be a good match. Like when I put these in our group chat with George and Lathan, like either way that we went, it wasn't going to be a bad match. Like it was going to be something good. When George picked this one, I knew about the match, and I knew Shawn Michaels and Jericho have a WrestleMania match that was really good. And I want to say it was prior to this because that's when Jericho went heel. I think. Could be wrong. Tell us in the comments how wrong I am on that. But with that, we're gonna finish this one up, man. George, what you got coming up on Too Hard Too Fast, man?
Ooh, by the time this comes out, who knows, man? But um, if people are listening, or the people that do want to check out Too Hard Too Fast, dude, there's been some good stuff on there. I just came from Boston. or that's in July. So we had a recording in Boston.
Nice.
That has been one of the biggest, coolest things so far. I've gone to other towns and recorded, but here in Texas, and now, dude, I went across the country for this, baby.
But you know what? He has yet to even come up to the Austin area to do a Too Hard, Too Fast with Lathan and I again.
Whatever, I keep suggesting it. Dude, I got this new equipment I want to try out. Okay, George, we get it. No, man, we should do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You tell me when. We'll make it happen. But everybody, thank y'all so much for listening, for checking us out. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple. Leave a comment, subscribe, check us out. We appreciate all of y'all, and we will see y'all in September for the next show. Holla at your boy.
Duck you. Bye.
Adios.